Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Help me, somebody, please help me. Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. A young lady is driving home one night when her car runs off the road into a ditch. Her cell phone is dying. She's trapped in her car. She cries out for help, but nobody hears. Hours pass by and she goes in and out of sleep until she finally hears voices. It has been 2 days she has been trapped in this situation, but on day 2, some folks were passing by and they saw the tire marks, and eventually help came. Later, as she told her story, someone asked, "Did you ever give up hope?" She boldly said, "I knew help would come because I just kept on praying for God to help me." An old man who lives alone fell in his kitchen and could not get up, and could not reach the phone to call for help. He was too weak to call loud enough for his neighbors to hear. He must have been on the floor for a long time before his son, who lives in another city, felt an urge to visit his father, but this time as a surprise. He would normally call his dad around 8 o'clock every morning when he knew his dad would be up making breakfast. But this morning, he decided to visit him and bring groceries and some new clothes he had bought the day before. He arrived at the house nearly 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and immediately he knew something was wrong. He let himself in with his key and found his father unconscious on the floor. Later, the doctor told him that his father had slipped into a coma because he hadn't eaten all day and had not taken his medication, and if he had not got help at the time he did, he would have died. Every morning, his father prayed for God to protect him each day from danger. Let us talk about the God who can help you in times of trouble. God never sleeps. A friend of mine says that God doesn't have pajamas. When you sleep, you're dead to all around you. And for some of us, it takes loud noise or someone shaking us real hard before we come awake. Imagine all that happens while you sleep. Now, imagine if God was to take a break to sleep. That might just be the time that you need help and the God you serve is sound asleep. I don't think so. God watches over you 24/7. Seriously. He doesn't take a break. Now, don't ask me how he does it, except I can say that he is a very powerful God. There's a section in the Bible that says that God's eyes are roaming through the whole earth looking for moments to show his power. God is everywhere at all times. God knows everything. God is not the most efficient emergency service. He does not have to wait for a 911 call. He knows everything even before it happens. In the case of the old man, God knew that the son was going to buy groceries and clothes and the day the son would deliver them. God caused the son to get there in the nick of time so that his father would be found and get help to stay alive. Or that young girl trapped in her car. Why were those persons passing by that day and even pay attention to the tire marks? God caused it to happen so that the young girl would get help rather than spend another night trapped in her car. And how come she was not attacked by wild animals? God took care of that as well. Finally, God watches over you when you go out and when you come back home. That is a special promise God made, and he keeps his promises. He does that because he is committed to keep you from danger. And even when you experience dangers, he gets help for you. So how does this work? Do I call him on my 911? Do I sit around and wait until emergency help comes? What if they never come? How do I get this powerful and knowledgeable and loving God to be on my side so that I can experience his protection? Well, The Bible says that he watches over the just and the unjust. But even more importantly, God has an arrangement or a commitment that he will take care of his children, those persons who are in relationship with him. Now, I know that you can think of some people who die from dangerous situations or some who did not get help in time. Did God fail them? No, he didn't. I don't know the answer, except I can say that based on God's plan for our lives, every person has an appointment with death, and that moment could have been their appointment. But trust me when I say that God takes care of his children. He really does. So we land right back where we started. The writer of this psalm was resolute in his opening statement. He uses the metaphor of hills to say that in times of trouble, he looks up to the hills from where he knows God will help. The God he's talking about is the God who created the whole world. When you are in trouble, you might say, "Help me! Somebody please help me." Next time, turn to God. Cry out to God. If he can create and sustain the whole world, then you can trust him to take care of you.